Okay, looks like we're finally live. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Looks like we already have 12 people hanging out in the chat. How you been doing, Switchpoint? It's been a while since we had an opportunity to stream.
Yeah, I'm all right. Just kind of like last week I was busy, so I can. Um, um, uh, yeah,
Short
no, I don't
circuit.
know. Like, just it's been a busy week. Like, we had people like taking vacation, and then we had coverage we needed to make. It's fun because like the two people that took vacation, I mean, they're a couple, so you're not going to say no to them, right? You're like, oh, well, yeah, let's let the couple have their vacation, have their time together. Why not? You
Yeah,
know?
it makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So they're like, well, we need to cover the shifts, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I can do it. some extra money in my pocket. Why not?
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah, I've been pretty busy with myself and
Yeah.
had a lot going on this week. Or actually, had a lot going on last week. And my wife's birthday was on Wednesday. I ended up taking Thursday and Friday off, which is the reason why I wasn't able to actually put out videos for a change. So it's like I didn't have to worry about waking up early and whatnot. So yeah, it's been kind of crazy. It's like we got news about Ellen's passing, which really sucks. I'll put the link in the video description for everybody. And let me see if I can dig it up, and I'll post in the chat. There's a GoFundMe going around for Anna and her family, and that really sucks. It's very sad to hear that happened. So just
Yeah.
everyone send some good vibes, thoughts, and prayers over to Anna and her family, because this is difficult, man. Her sister is only 22, and it's tragedy. It's a damn tragedy. So anyway,
The problem definitely, and so she goes by that Star Wars girl on Twitter, without the I in the girl part. But go if you see her post, be respectful.
yeah,
Just tell her, hey, sorry for your loss, and if she see if you can do if she needs anything, see what you can do to help her. But don't push any buttons right now. Like, she's probably in a really really sensitive place right now. So
yeah, it
yeah,
sucks.
it
Sucks
really
pretty
does.
badly.
It really does.
Okay, I found it, and let me post the GoFundMe. That way people have it. All right, there you go, folks. So if you're able to donate, by all means, please do. Friday is payday for me, so I'll be definitely donating. So anyway, on to a not as fun topic either. So we have a lot going on with
That's
Google this week, which has been crazy. We had the news about Facebook in France talking about how they want to go and hand over records of suspected people indulging in hate speech over to the courts. And of course, which really sucks is that, something I take for granted. Free speech is, huge here in the US, and it's not as protected around the world like it is here. It's not as valued, I think, by governments around the world. And that shit's pretty fucking crazy. I'm kind of curious what the French judicial system plans on doing with this information. Are they planning on arresting people for hate speech? I don't know French law.
I
Are they
mean,
planning on finding people? I mean, how does this work, and where do you draw the line with all
if it's
this?
anything similar to what we see the for like the UK, and like Britain and stuff like that, yeah, they apparently have some level of like hate speech laws that they follow, and they've arrested people for really ridiculous things and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, I mean, for all we know, this could be them like enforcing that nanny state level in the EU that they've been trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
and this could be like kind of like the step in that direction, which could be a problem if you think about it.
Yeah.
Especially with like how simple it is. Like, you and I both know, because like we've read reports about the EU before where, oh well, you have a butter knife, mate. You're gonna go ahead and you plan to stab someone with that, and like, it's a fucking butter knife.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's like those evidence shots where they're holding up a butter knife.
Yeah.
Such and such police department made a haul on dangerous weapons, and it's a dude holding a butter knife. It's like, are you fucking insane? This is ridiculous.
Okay, we've read these reports before. That's what makes it even better. Like,
Yeah.
this exists. Like, we're in this timeline right now.
Yeah. Talk about. This is like serious clown world level shit going on, which I just think is, makes me want to bang my head against the wall.
Oh God. Like, it does make me want to bang my head against the wall, but part of me is also just like, I'm also just laughing at just how ridiculous it is.
Mhm.
It's just, I really shouldn't be laughing, but like, it's like, what else can you do at this point? It's like, what else can you do? You have to like laugh at it and realize like just how ridiculous our life has become, because it's okay. Apparently, this is okay. It's
fine. No big deal.
Yeah, like houses burning down around you. Like, yeah, like the picture of the dog with a house just saying, like, oh shit.
Well, the thing that it's like, it's about where do you draw the line, okay? Because like if you keep banning things, people are just going to switch to other things. At some point, someone's going to grab a sharpened screwdriver. They're going to take a clawed hammer. They're going to do this, that, and the other. And it's like, where do you stop? Are you going to start cutting off people's hands because fists are weapons or can be weapons? It's like, what the fuck?
Can you imagine just like Jackie Chan sitting in like an airplane? His like hands are tied together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. Your entire body is considered a weapon. We need to tie your hands and feet before letting you on the plane.
So really quickly, hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? I see we have Cleveland Brown tonight, along with Computer Robots. Nice try, Dr. Venkman, Jason, Christie Miller, the Cinema Queen, Kalea. I hopefully got it right again. No, I'm kidding. I think I got it right finally. So we this is an interesting comment. We'll kind of derail things for a little bit. The in-game release footage of Spider-Man is not in the film, though it's on the giant. Yeah, it does kind of come off as a giant fucking cash grab because they haven't grabbed enough cash as is.
Well, somebody told me like the reason they did it is because Avatar got a re-release and they're trying to top Avatar. I don't know. Did Avatar get a re-release? I don't think it did. Did it?
I don't know. I only saw it once in theater. I was like, this movie sucked.
I saw it once. I was younger the first time I saw it, so I'm gonna give it credit under the pretense that I think I liked it more because I was younger. Then I got older and I realized it was a bad movie.
Yeah,
it was. I think just like the spectacle of like being one of my first 3D movies and like being one of the and being like a big event thing, I think really got me as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most thing. Because like, on rewatching, that's not happening.
Yeah, I hate the 3D movies. They give me headaches. I really do.
Oh yeah, but they do definitely give me headaches. I'll agree with that. Jeez. Well, no, actually, no, I don't get headaches from it. I just don't like it. I just don't find myself able to concentrate on the movie as much. Somebody actually asked a very nice question here that'll be derailed a little bit.
Sure.
What is your Canada Day plans for that's my question because it is Canada Day. And what is your Independence Day plans for you, Comics Division?
I really haven't thought ahead. I had the day off, that's really about it. I might try and think it's on a Thursday. I might try and get Friday off again, and we'll see about maybe cranking out some more videos this week. So it really kind of depends on what the schedule looks like.
Can we put a vote in, like a straw poll vote for like get like Comics Division to like make a 15-second video to act the most redneck he can just on screen. and like firing his gun and like lighting up some like fireworks and everything, like, yeah, it's my God-given right.
Should go out to my parents' property and film something like that. Have like tracer rounds in my AR or something.
Like, okay, I want to point out, no, Comics Division is actually really safe about his gun. He's never gonna.
Very, very safe about that stuff.
Like, he will never, unless it's a blanks, he's not going to be like wildly firing that shit.
No.
So, but can you imagine though? Oh god, you know, like the Mexican kid who complains about like who complains about like somebody who a way line shot that like hit him in the head. Yeah, like that would just be comics vision that one day he decided to pretend.
Yeah, that would suck. No,
Uh,
I'm very big on gun safety. It's pretty funny when I took my wife shooting for the very first time. You know, I was telling her the rules and whatnot. I actually had one of my it was when I took you shooting.
Yeah.
One of my not my gun wasn't loaded, but one of my magazines was pretty much full, and I was like, "This is why you check, because here we have a magazine that is not empty." It was in my gun case with the gun. So it's like, this is the reason why you do these things, because you never know, because this could have been in the gun. It's like when somebody else is using your stuff, you got to double check just to make sure that things are good, because you don't want to have any accidents. Accidents are bad.
Oh, I agree. Accidents are bad, definitely. Especially with that kind of stuff involved.
Yeah.
The as for the candidate question, well, I am working Canada Day, which is actually like starting. It's about starting like right now, Canada Day. But I was off like 2 day during the daytime, so I was already out with family and stuff like that. We went. I went over to my aunt's place. We had a bar. It was for a barbecue and stuff like that. I was actually telling Comics Division about it earlier. It was fun. We had we had hamburgers, hot dogs, and sat around, talked, had a good time. Getting to see family is just always a good thing for the holidays. So
I imagine we'll probably end up be doing something with my wife's family, since her cousin moved down, and which is pretty cool because they live in our neighborhood, so they're like 2 minutes away from where we live, and that just makes things easy. Let's see. I know that Tuesday I'm seeing Spider-Man: Far From Home, so that should be interesting.
I forgot that movie was coming out.
I did too. I didn't realize how soon it was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, it's coming out Tuesday. I thought it was Oh, it can't come out Thursday because it's
because of holiday.
July. Yeah, it's a holiday. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, which is the Google bias, and then on to the shit that happened in Portland over the weekend, which has been freaking insane. Oh, actually, hang on. Before I get to that, Maverick is asking, how was the Dim debate? I didn't watch it. I heard some highlights, and right now it seems like Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard are like the only two Democrats that aren't insane. And it seems like the media is already trying to suppress, things about them, and they're, I don't know. It's all kind of weird. The thing I found the most disturbing to come out of it is that when asked, do you support giving illegal immigrants healthcare, free healthcare? All of them like raised their hand, and it's just like, you people are stupid. You have no fucking idea how expensive this would be. There's no way this would fucking work. So I think the Democratic Party is kind of doomed.
I mean, yeah.
My thoughts on
it. Trust me, I can honestly tell you, we have a liberal government in our office right now, and let's just say spending some doesn't seem to be on their priority of like making sure anything right now. Like some of the stuff they're spending, like wasting money on, they just keep wasting it. I'm not even trying to be like mean. Like hell, I'm not even like against liberal standpoints unless like as long as it's a good one. But like it's like you do realize like we still need money in the coffers. You can't just say, oh well, we'll generate more money. We won't be in debt. No, you can't. That's not a good enough excuse. You do realize we generate money under the pretense that you'll eventually pay it back.
Right. But onto the whole Google bias thing. Obviously, I put out 2 videos talking about that, and yes. I didn't get a chance to do the third one, which was to talk about the thing I sent you, which was they had a lot of like leaked documents, and one of them was a document on how to protest.
Yeah, that was it's a
beginner's guide to protesting. How to guide plus what to expect, how we can help. That's the name of the document. Yeah, and I love that the email it's resist at Google.
Yeah, because when I think of a big multimedia corporation, I think they want to resist the man. Oh God, this article is really weird. A lot of stuff, such as like, there's a lot of brainwashing rhetoric in here too. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, let's take a look here. Some of the stuff that like really stood out to me was, be energetic, make noise, participate in chants, carry a sign, invite others. Like I remember like there's a part here where they say like make sure to have fun while protesting. Like what?
Yeah,
Like
it's stupid. It's really stupid. I'm gonna try and
yeah.
open up a browser window so I can share this with everybody, because this is just it's
Oh,
fine.
it's wonderful.
It
It
is
is.
absolutely wonderful. Here we go. Applications.
Yeah.
There we go. So this is coming from Project Veritas. This is one of the documents that they released over the course of the week. So there was 3 things that came out. There was like a bunch of PowerPoints that came out. There was something that talked about the whole thing with like the CEO search result and whatnot, which was all kind of weird. And then you had the email that basically said that they're calling Jordan Peterson, Dennis Prager, and Ben Shapiro Nazis, and of course, 2 of those individuals are Jewish, which is just,
I think one of my favorite parts about that is, so if you listen to the actual like documentation, like the documentation, because this entire hearing is about whether or not Google, not only Google, Facebook, Twitter, all these social media platforms, count as whether they're platforms or publishers. That's literally the discussion going on right now.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, the proper answer is to say they're all platforms, because I mean they have so many people using them, and they can't have a bias. They need to have actual like they actually do need to have actual written rules that people can follow, so they know what they're doing that's right and wrong, to use that platform,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm sorry, like I don't think there's really a debate for that. I think that these definitely like what these are. It's that way we don't show bias. I mean, I may not like what, let's say, Alex Jones has to say about like a lot of things, but hey, I'm not going to take away his right to say it unless he's like actually harming somebody.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. It's the calls for violence and whatnot. That is not protected speech, and yeah. So anyway, Maverick, to answer your question, or to kind of elaborate on what you said, start using DuckDuckGo. I mean, I think that seems to be the alternative source that people go to for Google search engines. Start using Brave instead of Chrome. Find ways of getting Google out of your life. Yeah, especially using a VPN. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You definitely should be using a VPN for sure.
There's actually a few. There's a few YouTubers that have popped up that would recommend looking into. That will definitely tell you how to de-Googlefy your life, or how to get a bit more off grid. You don't have to go like full high-end level 4 status, removed from the grid, or whatever they want to call it. Like some call level 4 as the highest level, but you can definitely like go like you can try some small things that'll definitely help, and it'll definitely like make your life that much more your own. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe, oh well, I have nothing to hide, that doesn't matter. This is still your personal information, and I would recommend like actually still checking these guys out to tell you, because they'll tell you why you want to keep that personal information to your personal much better than I probably could, because there's a level of it doesn't matter whether you're whether you have nothing to hide or not. You may think you have nothing to hide until something comes up that you're not aware of, or something they feel they can use against you without context. There's tons of reasons. Hell, it just could be for the sake of your own personal privacy, of having your own personal privacy, so that no one's spying on you.
Are you addressing Computer Robots' question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The reason why you want to use a VPN is because it prevents your ISP from tracking what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're using something like Google Fiber. It's a Google product. You don't need any more of your data bits going over to Google. And just in general, I mean, we live in an age where basically all ISPs, I won't say spy on you, but they collect your data. And because big data is becoming such a thing, you are now the product. That's the thing that we got to watch out for, is that you are now, your information is being bought and sold by other companies. And that's the thing that's that's scary about it. And back when Snowden kind of blew the whistle on Prism and all this stuff, what was going on is that they're like, oh, it's no big deal. It's just metadata. It's metadata. We're not listening to your calls. Well, that metadata defines you as a person. And you can actually, you can create patterns on people based off of your metadata. So this is the reason why it's important to use a VPN. And it's important, the reason why you don't want to use Facebook is because they're using all this data and collecting it on you to, we joke about, we're living in the age of, cyberpunk. We're heading towards the dark future. And if you we're basically almost to the point where it's a Minority Report, but instead of psychics, you have AI and big data, which is able to go through and detect deviations from your pattern. And that's the thing that's so fucking scary. Now, why they're doing a lot of this stuff is because they want to market to you better. But we're getting to the point where these companies know you better than you know yourself. And that's the part that's really kind of scary about it.
Well, it's coming to the point where now...
And yes, Cleveland, I also don't want people to know what kind of freaky porn I look at.
Well, yeah, that's important. But no, it's also coming to the point where that metadata is being used against you. A la Facebook in France, where it's like, well, we'll put away, we'll give that information to the authorities to say what's hate speech. Okay, well, what's to stop Google from doing that down the line? Mm-hmm. What's to stop Twitter? What's to stop what's to stop any big tech company that has any information, right? They're at the point where these tech companies can now say, even Apple, right? Like, what's stopping them from saying, okay, well, we're trying to abide by what we consider hate speech and share that with, like, not only France, but maybe any other country. And here's the thing, right? Like, you may say, oh, well, I'm not doing anything illegal yet.
Yes. Yeah, that's the key thing. Well, think of this. And I don't know how likely it is, but it's a possibility. Think about this. You say something saucy on Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say you go visit France, but because France has this information, you get flagged flying in, and suddenly you're being arrested for hate speech, even though you're not a citizen of France, but you said something online that broke French law. And again, I don't know how plausible this is. It could happen, and suddenly you're being prosecuted by a foreign country because of something you said on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah, like. That's exactly true. Like, it's not, because, okay, I'm not going to be like the guy who's going to be, oh yeah, you should like, you should get like a VPN. I'm going to say yeah, I recommend getting a VPN. It's up to you if you want to decide to get it or not, though. I can't force your hand, honestly. At the end of the day, I can't force your hand. There are other things you can do that'll definitely help keep your security, though. Look into Tor browsers. Kind of like Firefox and kind of like the Tor browser itself, stuff like that do exist. They do help at least protect your data to some degree. Having a VPN does help. Even if you have Windows 10, there's certain features that there's certain people you can trust. Because I know Windows still spies on you, but there's certain features you can turn off. And there are people. I check out Barnacles. Barnacles is awesome. He actually has like a whole like guide on like what features to turn off on Windows to get the least amount of spying from Microsoft on your computer.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if you're gonna stick with like the only time I tell you to change from Windows is if you want to go full on super, like, I want to get Linux like type of dude. Look into maybe stock Android on your phone to see if that's something you're willing to do to maybe get less spying on yourself. Your phone still listens to you.
Yeah, it's kind of
like the only way it won't listen to you is you actually have to reinstall like Android yourself as a stock as one of the stock types that's like user made. if you really want to actually get away from that.
That's interesting.
Yep.
$2 super chat from Christie Miller. Love your videos, so keep up the great work. Thank you very much. I will do so. I have something I've been wanting to do for a while, which is going to take a bit of research. It's definitely going to be one of the free speech videos, but specifically talking about censorship and Facebook and some of the things that has happened over the last couple of years and why censorship will always be used against the people who advocate for it. So, yeah.
Your brain might not think censorship is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you may not think censorship is wrong, but your brain knows.
But your brain knows.
So.
I know, man. 41 views. I have not had 41 viewers in quite some time. Usually it's about in the 20s. So interesting topics, I think, that people want to know and hear more about what's going on with the Google bias, and
I'm okay with this.
Increasing the support. Yeah, I am too, man. I think this is some important shit to talk about.
Definitely. Maybe they can spread the news, get that out there,
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, and it's like, I don't know if this had to do with disinterest in the video, but my video about France, I kind of felt like it got hit by the algorithm a little bit, because both of my other two videos that I did before, they both went over 300 views. This one, it took a bit for it to get to 200, and it's like it felt like it was getting suppressed to me.
It possibly was. I mean, like, there's a lot of things you can never really tell with the algorithm, whether like you got the hot topic at the right time or if it was just bad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The CIA and the NSA listen to me on my buddy. Keywords like bomb and terrorism come regularly in our conversation. They come regularly, do you?
Well, there's a. I always like citing this one, and this is something that did happen. Unfortunately, it's been a couple of years since I looked into it, but there was I want to say she was an online journalist. I want to say she's a journalist. She worked for a site, and she was searching for pressure cookers. And then, like an hour later, her husband was searching for backpacks. And then they got a visit from the FBI the next day, which is kind of frightening if you think about it. Echo Based Network, $4.99 super chat. Keep up the great work, guys. Saw the title with Antifa. Funny how you never see them in my state of Alabama. Oh, that's good to know. But that's Alabama, man. I would not consider Alabama to be, a rather liberal state. So that's probably the reason why. And that shit would not go down here. Yeah, I know. I have some friends in Alabama. So
honestly, I don't think they would survive very long in Alabama.
Yeah. And thanks for hanging out with us, Echo Based Network.
For sure.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. So, like, it's interesting. Oh, well, I mean, I guess since we're like talking about Antifa, yeah, okay, let's get really down to it, because there was the free speech rally that's happening in Portland right now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So over the, I guess all this happened yesterday. I don't know what necessarily sparked what was going on. I know that apparently it was I guess a simultaneous protest. There was Antifa and there was Proud Boys.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what exactly happened that caused all this. So there's kind of three things, or it's technically two. I'm going to say three because it's two things that happen around the same time, and then you had the whole thing with what's his name? Andy No, is that his name?
Yeah, Andy No.
That is fucking insane. So Andy No, who works for Quora, and people are calling Quora like far right, and it's like, dude, that's just not far right. I mean, it's centrist, according to Tim Pool.
Well, Tim Pool is being called far right now.
And I know. Holy shit.
I mean, like, okay, what if we're calling all these people far? What's far right anymore at this point? Like, I'm like, okay, we made the joke that like anything like right of Marx, like is right now, but like, here's the thing, right? Okay, like it is getting ridiculous. Like everything, they're calling everything. Like it's not even like they're calling it right anymore. They're calling it far right. They're calling it Nazi.
Everything's far right.
Everything's far right. Everything's far Nazi. Everything is, like, guys, like, are you just trying not to have anyone on your side at all?
Yeah. That's well, I don't get this mindset. I really don't. It's hard for me to process this, folks, because of just how ridiculous it is. But I reposted something I saw, and I was like, when you're so far right that the center looks like when you're so far left that the center looks like the far right to you, and he was talking about Tim Pool, calling Tim Pool, a far right journalist or activist or something like that. I said,
No, I mean,
dude, is not far right. It's like you are willfully delusional, or either delusional or willfully lying.
no, like when you're so far left that even leftists look right to you.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's pretty crazy. And then there's the footage of Andy No, who is I believe Vietnamese. I've heard that he's gay, and he's a journalist for Quora. And the
yeah,
dude gets attacked. Like,
they stole his property.
yeah, they stole his GoPro. They silly stringed him. They threw milkshakes at him. And there's like photos of this article where you can see it's right after what happened, and you can see he's bleeding from his ear. He has a black eye, and he has like some areas that he's bleeding from on his face.
Well, he's
And
not the only one too. Like it was
no, he's not the only one.
Yeah.
But he was actually taken to a hospital, and he was basically, they said that he had like a brain hemorrhage or something. Let me see if I can find it. But he or had some swelling in his brain or something, because I mean, you hit somebody good in the head, there's gonna be damage. It's not always good.
Well, he's in the ER right now.
Yeah, in the ER. There's several people who've been sent to the ER because of this. There's another incident that happened, and you don't see what led up to it, but the guy, yeah, brain bleed. Thank you, Lana. He had a brain bleed, which is not good either, because it can cause a clot. Clots in the brain are not good. Cerebral hemorrhage. Yeah. So anyway, there was a guy on the ground. They were screaming he started it. You don't know what happened, but all I see is a dude on the ground. If you were in a fight, even if the dude started it, and he's on the ground and he's not able to fight, the fight's over, man. You fucking won, But you have people running up and kicking him in the head. And then a couple of guys go to his aid, and he's like, this one dude, he's like, come on, you want to fight me? He starts like taking off his glasses and his hat. And the guy's not trying to get into a fight. He's just trying to get this dude off the ground and get him out of the area, because the guy is being viciously assaulted. The guy is on the ground, and this is like an old man. He looks like he's in, I guess old being relative. To me, he looks like he's in his 60s. And he's overweight, he's on the ground, and you have these young 20-year-olds running up and punching him and kicking him in the head. And then this other guy, he intervenes, and they get the guy up, they're walking him out, and he gets swarmed by Antifa again. And this dude looks like he has like a metal cane in his hand, and he starts hitting the old man. And it may have been the old man, so I have no idea. And the guy goes to intervene to try and break it up, and he starts getting attacked. He gets pepper sprayed in the face, and of course, the Antifa guys start swarming him, and they start punching him in the back of the head. And
I mean, I'm sending you some of those tweets and pictures that we know. Like,
okay.
Again, I don't think you can show all of them, because like they would be considered potentially graphic.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, if you want to share them, maybe in description you can. But like, keep in mind,
I have them on Twitter, so I reposted some of the stuff on Twitter, guys. If you want to go check out my feed, you can go and find it. There's another one I'm going to retweet, which is very graphic. It's and I believe it's the guy who was getting punched in the head. The one that was trying to help the old man, because his beard looks the same color, and you can see where he has massive gashes in his head. And it's bad. I mean, this is someone who was viciously attacked.
Yeah, like it's getting. Here's the thing: like we already have reports from police in the area indicating like that some of the milkshakes have reportedly had quick drying cement in them.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about like the poisonous effect it has on the body if like that were to get inhaled, or anything of that nature. There's nothing, like there's no reason for this.
No.
You've escalated it way too far. Isn't it's all well, like these people are just upset because a little bit of milkshake got them. No, okay.
No, this is an escalation, and Tim Pool's called it out. We've talked about this where this is just going to escalate, and the thing is, quick drying cement is caustic. You can get a chemical burn. And that's the thing that they're anticipating with this stuff. And it's just a milkshake. And then you had that one comedian in the UK saying, up your game, use acid, use battery acid. And it's like, you fucking fool.
Well,
they're going to go.
Plans for an acid attack in a future one, isn't there?
Yeah, well, there was the article I sent you, and let me pull it up. And the title of it is, God damn it, it's stupid.
Keep in mind, this is a potentially leaked document, so take it with a bit of a grain of salt. But I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm not surprised if they're actually planning something. So,
I'll pull the article up and I'll go and share it too.
Yeah.
So this is coming from Big League Politics, so take it for what it's worth. I believe Big League Politics is a right-leaning site. And are you not pulling up for me? Website? Hello?
There it is. I see.
Oh, okay. I just need to scroll down. Okay, so new threat: Antifa plans acid attack on DC free speech rally, promises to blind and attendees. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and these are okay.
This is where we're heading. This is the next step. This is the next step.
Being attacked with more severe blunt objects, so like potentially like aluminum, like actual aluminum, and like actual like hard wooden baseball bats.
Well, that's what they have here. I mean, they're not baseball bats, but they're sticks.
Yeah.
Just they're flags.
Yeah, but that's the next step, right? You go to actual baseball bats, which have much more leverage, which have much more damage they could do. You know what I mean? Like you see how far they'll let you take it before you start stepping back a bit. Like, you know what I mean? It's, oh well, okay, we can get away with a flagpole. Okay, can I use a bat now? Oh, okay, I can use a bat. All right, maybe I can use something a bit more sharper than that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, it's that's the thing that's so scary about it, is that it's the incremental escalation.
Yeah.
What is the ultimate step here? Where do we go from here? And Kalea, I just added you as a moderator again. I just saw your Twitter message. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Where do we escalate from here? And it's just gonna get worse. It's gonna get more fucking violent. And here's the thing. I mean, I made jokes about this last year about Antifa death squads. That was like part of my bit, was some of my my videos. But here it is, man. It's getting worse. It is absolutely getting worse. And yeah, and the mayor of Portland, he's protecting these people. Wow, that's so fucked up. This, shit.
How do you even defend this?
No, you can't. You can't fucking defend this. And on top of that, the other thing I didn't talk about, you had a U-Haul truck show up where they're basically pouring out, handing out milkshakes to people to throw at people. And it's like, who knows what is in that stuff? You're trusting your fellow Antifa members that, it's just a milkshake. It's like, it could be something way fucking worse. Yeah.
Like,
the whole thing, it's like, God damn. Portland is a fucked up city. I mean, it's a very beautiful city, but culturally it's just it's fucking out there. It really is.
I mean, I want to know what, like, where did we say this was okay? Like, where like, I know there's people who've said, oh well, if they're not on your side, they're the enemy. I get that. Like, but like, at what point did we like stop and just say, okay, this is fine. We'll, like, this is okay. We'll do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, there was a point where we should have said, no, stop. Like, this is illegal. And like, but it's never happened. And like, so now it's slowly escalating more and more and more. And we're going to get to the point where the only way to stop them is by force. and only because they brought it upon themselves, because they're using force to try to get their side, to try to make themselves seem like, and the stupid excuse, oh well, Antifa just means anti-fascist, so they can't be fascist. That's such a stupid argument.
I know.
Like,
it is ridiculous.
that's as stupid as like when Nazis said, oh well, we stole a symbol of peace, so therefore we we can be this can be the symbol of, like, this is the so-called symbol of peace, so we'll be the arbiters of peace because, like, we're using the symbol, so we can't be the bad guys, clearly. That's such a stupid argument. Like, sorry.
And the other thing too is, you're right. Portland is actually worse than San Francisco. And like I said, my brother lives in Portland. I was there, like 2 or 3 years ago. And I've been to Portland twice. I was there when my brother got married, and then I was there for summer vacation. And it got really bad with the homeless. And the reason why is because Portland has been invaded by Californians, and what they've done is it's like what they did here in Texas and Austin. Is they moved in, they went and bought up a lot of the properties. Typically, a lot of people rent, so they bought up these rental properties, jacked up the prices to the point where the locals couldn't afford it anymore. So they could go and rent these properties to Californians, wanting to get away from the fucking expensive areas of California. California sucks as a state. You can't live there unless you just have ungodly amounts of money. I don't know how Gary does it. I know it's because he owns his own house, and he's fortunate for owning his house currently.
Can I just imagine Gary just like that is just one old man moment. Some kid just walks on his lawn, just like he takes out his shotgun, cocked it, and just get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. But and so what happened is that suddenly the locals, they don't have a place to live anymore because shit's getting too expensive, and so you start having these tent cities. Yeah, that's it. Tent cities developing around areas of Portland, and it's everywhere. It is really bad, and it's probably, I would say, I don't know if it's worse than LA. I know there's parts of LA where there's like nothing but tent cities. But you have these little pockets all over the place, and it's like within a couple of blocks from my brother's house, there's a tent city, and it's so unfortunate. So yeah, Californians, I could say this as a Californian, ruined. They ruin everything.
I mean, this, you kind of reminded me of with the tent city thing. Is like, you remind me of the part where the people found AOC like doing the fake sobbing thing. Like, oh god, I laughed so hard. It was so fake.
Well, just like the pouty face she had, it's like, my god. I mean, that stuff is just. I mean, I saw it's like before I even heard that there was like proof it was fake, and I just heard about it. I was just looking. I was like, this is such bullshit. And then you see the other angle where it's like it's just pictures in front of a fucking parking lot.
Okay, so it makes me laugh because, first of all, I was just like, okay, it looked fake when I watched it anyway. So I was like, oh, I mean, this, like, because that's one of those faces where it's like, so sad. Ew, yes. I care. Oh, like, and then people are like just pointing out like, well, if you cared so much, why don't you sell your fucking watch? Your watch is like worth like $10,000. Like, I love that people actually like literally dissected that. Hell, her shoes are probably worth like another like 30,000.
Probably, who knows? So, Gimp Rider 66. Yes, if you present your NRA membership, they will let you in. I'm pretty sure if you just show them that you are a Gona owning American citizen, they'll let you in. Yes, and if you're a dragon, I completely agree with you, Dan Crenshaw for 2020.
I'm okay with Dan Crenshaw being for 2020, man. Like, that dude. Okay, that dude literally walked into that hearing, and he was just like, "No, bitch, I got this."
Yeah.
I was just like, "Oh wow." He was just straight up like he was just straight like, dude is not like, he's not Solid Snake. Like, dude is like Naked Snake. He's like he's the original Big Boss before Big Boss became evil.
Yeah. Let's see. Mellowy, I am from the Bay Area. So Yeah, I grew up. I want to say grew up. I didn't grow up in California, thankfully, but I was roughly 45 minutes away from San Francisco. But yeah, still on the peninsula.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just a small town boy. I grew up like in I grew up like Nova Scotia, Canada. It was basically the kind of like the port city area.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the peninsula is just made up of a bunch of small cities. The only big city that's on there is San Francisco.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
that on the peninsula. On the other side, you have Oakland, and then when you start going south, I would say probably 45 minutes away from the where I lived was San Jose. Maybe,
Mm.
maybe, maybe an hour and a half. I don't remember. Now I want to say
Uh,
it's 45
yeah.
minutes.
And subject to change, I agree with you. Tech literate people, even if they're, I would say, like, even if they're not conservative, as long as they're like tech literate and moderate people that understand the system and like how things work, um, they definitely they definitely do need to be more into the government and more into like the system these days, just so they can understand like the system better, the evolving system that's just better. Like that's not only like I'm not only speaking in not only speaking here in regards to like America, I'm also speaking like even in Canada, even in the UK, no matter where you're from, because there's a weird disconnect. We still have a very old guard in the government these days who don't understand, like they don't understand things like Twitter, they don't understand things like Facebook, they don't understand things like YouTube, um, or even like 4chan or stuff like that, and
Hmm.
it goes over their head to the degree that like they try to lump it as like one thing, but it's like a much more nebulous thing, and it requires more understanding than that, you know. And I'm not saying like an old person can't understand it. I'm saying like these are old guard, as in these are people who are stuck in the old ways. Not that they're because they're old.
Yeah.
I've spoken to old people who understand the internet way better than these old guard clearly do. Like,
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, it was
mhm,
last year you had Google that was being um
mhm.
gosh, I want to say interviewed. You had like one of the committees where Google was called in, and I don't remember what it was around, but it's like you saw the you saw Congress asking them like really stupid questions, and that's like the thing, you know. It's like when I saw Crenshaw's videos, like this dude obviously knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh yeah,
Um, because he didn't ask all these like really stupid questions, like and it was like an older congressman. Fuck, I don't remember. It's I could probably go look it up, but it's just you could tell because you get older, you get a little bit out of touch. You're not too into what's going on technology wise, especially if it's something you haven't grown up with. Um,
yeah. Like it's even if you haven't grown, like it's not even like you need to have grown up with it, but it just needs like you need the time to understand it, right? Like I get that. It's and you know what? I'm not asking for the person to know everything about technology and how it works. I'm just
mhm.
asking like at least a general understanding that like it can be used for good, and understanding what parts are being misused and how we can how we can prevent that misuse, uh, and what we can do to better the system down the line. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think that's the real important factor that like the old guard is forgetting. And the reason I'm using old guard is because it's the best term right now. I think is because there's the old guard versus the new guard. Because I don't think the new guard has to be all young people. It just has to be people who understand the current system and how it works.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, um, just like the old guard understood the previous system, they understood how it worked. They were fine for that previous system. Um,
Well, and
so
that's the other thing too is that yeah, 50 people watching. That's awesome. I haven't had that many people in a long time.
And yes, Bad Bunny, I do miss Misty Moon, and yes, it was torn down. Sad news. It was. They made amazing ice cream, though. Yes, I do miss them.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Technology has gotten so broad because there's a lot more to it than, let's say, when I first started. You know, back in my day, you had software and then you had hardware, and things have gotten it has branched out further. Now you have like big data, and then you have artificial intelligence and all the stuff where it's just because you understand technology in one area doesn't mean you understand everything. Um, I'm pretty versatile in when it comes to IT stuff.
Yeah.
some areas I'm lacking in. When we start talking about AI and big data, that's where I know nothing. It's like I know what it is, I know what it does, but I know nothing.
I know a little bit of like AI, and I know a bit. I know a bit of big data. My specialty has mostly been in hardware, though. I'll admit to that, but that doesn't mean like I don't understand that stuff. I always try to dabble on a little bit of everything if I can, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But I will say, like, there are things I like. There are things like Comics Division knows better than I do, and there's things I know better than he does when it comes to like some just tech stuff. Like I know I've helped Comics Division troubleshoot a few things that I understood a bit better than he did.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, I mean, you're more of a hardware guy than I am now, because it's I still kind of know stuff about hardware, but nowhere near as good as I used to be. So yeah. Sifu, yes. Hey, how's it going, man? It is very, very sad to hear about what happened with Ellen.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping, like I made my Twitter post earlier in the week. I was hoping she was off being a stupid kid and would come back safe. And it's very sad to hear about her passing. It's very tragic.
I think a lot of us were just hoping that it was a stupid tomfoolery. Maybe she was out with her boyfriend and they forgot to like let people know or something.
It was her birthday. I figured she's like, it's my birthday. I'm gonna go out and do something dumb.
Yeah, like I think everyone was kind of hoping for it to be something silly like that. You know what I mean? Like, because then like that's the best case scenario, right? But
yeah. All out of bubble gum for $5. I live in Portland. I really wish I didn't. This place blows. Wow. Our mayor should be brought up on charges of helping a terrorist group. Yeah, that's the thing I find so crazy. Computer robots. Ellen is that Star Wars girl's sister, and she went missing. And
yeah. So that Star Wars girl is somebody who's part of the Brood. I don't personally know her. I know that she Geeks and Gamers knows her personally. So he's taking a bit of a radio silence, I think, today in honor of her.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do feel sorry for them because like that's very like you lost a family member of a friend. So that's completely understandable. And not to mention that like that Star Wars girl is also known for being very vocal in the community. So
yes.
So very much so, you might not hear from her for a few days while she collects herself. Just give her
what happened and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just give your support to her. Just go to that Star Wars girl's Twitter page and just let her know, like you care. If you have any extra funds that you could donate towards the GoFundMe, they're using it to help pay for the funeral and for like whatever they need to pay for in these trying times. So
yes.
Yeah,
it's very sad and it's very unfortunate. I mean,
mm-hmm.
She was only 22. I mean, that's, she was just a kid. And, it's one thing, it's different if it's like an old ass, bastard like myself who's lived life. But at 22, you haven't even started living life yet.
Yeah. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife, she lost her cousin. She was, around the same age.
I mean, I lost my uncle when he was still fairly young. He was like he just had his third kid, and he wasn't even 40 yet. Like he had his third kid, and it was Valentine's Day, and like it was so unexpected. Like he literally went up to because what happened was it's like, oh, I don't feel so good. Like it was after like dinner or something. It's like, I don't feel so good. I'm gonna go take a nap. And then when he was having his nap, he had a heart attack.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yep. I was like, wow.
Yep.
Like you don't see it coming.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. It's important to not. I always like the joke of it's like, don't pet the sweaty stuff. Don't sweat the.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember how it goes. But anyway, that's the whole thing, man. It's like you gotta, as Phil DeFranco would say, you gotta love the people that are there because you don't know if they're going to be with you the next day. So that's kind of a very important thing.
Yeah. Very, very much so. It's very important. Like you gotta do what you gotta do. And as you said, computer robots, like why do bad things happen to good people? I do see that comment there, and you know what? It's one of those things that like you can't see, you can never see it coming. I can only say like bad things happen to bad people too. But like in this case scenario, it just hurts them. It just hurts more when it happens to good people. That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that's literally the answer. It just hurts more when it happens to. It hurts more when it happens to good people.
Yeah.
And because the good people always had the stronger connection to us and life.
Yeah. Absolutely. But anyway, back to what you're talking about, all out bubblegum. Yeah, like Portland is such a weird city, man. I went there, like I said, visit my brother a couple times. Initially I thought about moving over there. It was like, and I started reading about some of the stuff that they're doing in Oregon, like the whole thing, like, how you can't collect rainwater because they're a very collectivist state. And yeah, it's like I'm not too big on that. I'm not big into collectivism whatsoever. And it's like, yeah, this city's just too fucking liberal. It's like I wouldn't be able to live there.
I mean, but where are you gonna get your avocado toast?
I could just go to Austin for that if I really wanted to.
To be fair, I mean, like avocado toast does not even cost that much to make. Literally, you can buy toast from like the local bakery for like $2, like a bag of toast, like $2-3.
You can make you can make your own toast. Just put some bread in the toaster and
that's what I mean.
Mash up an avocado and put it on there.
I know, right? Like an avocado is like about $1 at like the grocery store. Not even that. Like wait, those like 2 for $1. Last time I checked, sorry, it's 2 for $1. So you get 2 avocados for $1, and I can buy like a bag of toast for like $3. Oh, I literally made avocado toast for less than $4.
But and that's the thing, man. It's like if you, it's so plebeian for you to make it yourself. You have to go out and buy it.
Yeah, then pay $10 and hope that it comes with a free coffee.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Kalea and the avocado emoji. It's so weird that they have like emojis from the most random shit.
I mean, well, eventually we're gonna have like our own emojis that like are gonna be memes that we're not gonna see coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like like they have rhino milk for like EFAP. Eventually, like we'll get something of our own, right? Apparently, avocado. We'll have avocado toast. Apparently, okay. If there's a toast icon and an avocado icon, that's gonna be terrible. Because then I know people are gonna abuse that.
Yeah. But dude, get brighter, man. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. That's terrible.
What happened?
Says 67, wife passed 9 years ago, just after Christmas. Lost my dad just after Christmas. Yeesh, dude. I'm sorry, man. That's
sorry to hear that,
I always hear how Christmas time is like really difficult. And that sucks to hear that, man. Yeah, avocado and egg salad.
That's actually pretty tasty. I should have had like a little bit of avocado slices like with the egg salad. Okay, well, there you go. I shouldn't have said anything. Like there it is. But
avocado and bread. Thanks, all out of bubblegum. I think we all needed a good laugh after hearing some of the shit that's been going on. Anyway, so what are your thoughts, man, about what's going to be happening in the future? I mean, when it comes to Antifa, you think that things are going to continue to escalate? Avocado.
I think it's going to. I honestly think it's going to keep escalating because there's people that are still like defending their actions.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. It's like where is the mainstream media in all this?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because you have individuals like Don Lemon who go and defend what's going on. They're like totally cool with Antifa, and everyone's like, oh, throwing milkshakes, that's just free speech. And no, it's not, man. We've been calling this shit out before. We know it's going to escalate. Clearly, it has.
Yeah. And like, but we still have people defending it. So it's like, we're going to have. I think we're going to continue seeing escalations to the point where eventually it just can't be ignored.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean that. I mean to the point like it's going to be so hard to ignore it. Like, sure, I would argue now you shouldn't be able to ignore it, but like they're still choosing to ignore it. So it's going to become to the point where they can't ignore it. Maybe it'll be a danger to themselves as well. So like when it becomes a danger to the elite as well, or to the groups that then or to their own personal groups, because let's be honest with ourselves, Antifa's not on the side of the moderate left, or the side of, even I would say, or even the governing left, because Antifa is very much a very anarchist party.
Yeah.
So eventually they're going to turn on them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the thing. Even during the whole thing at at Berkeley with Milo, they had spray paint on a wall. Even liberals get the bullet too.
Yeah. So eventually it's going to get to the point where Antifa, their anarchist ways are going to get so bad that there's no way you can even remotely try to even protect them as a people. And then they're going to have to do something about it. Mm-hmm. And that's when potentially force might have to be used at that point to stop them.
Well, and that's the thing, man. When I saw that video, dude, that really made my blood boil seeing that. It's like this dude on the ground, defenseless, being punched and kicked. It's like that really made me mad. I mean, that made me want to Hulk, smash. It's like if I was there and I saw that, I swear to God, it's like I'd want to lift somebody up by their feet and start, throwing them around.
Are we gonna have Dr. Hulk, or are we gonna have regular Hulk smash?
I don't know, but it's it really made me mad. It's like, holy shit, it's like that is not right. Seeing someone on the ground like that, like I said, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter if they're a Nazi. It doesn't matter if they're Antifa. When they're on the ground and they're defenseless, you can't fucking attack somebody like that.
There's no reason.
It's attempted murder at that point.
Well, yeah, there's a point where you have to they're putting the law in their own hands,
mm-hmm.
right? At that point, we should have said no. You don't put the law in the hands of the citizens. The law, there's a reason why we have elected officials that uphold the law. At what point do we say that it's that those citizens are then they're breaking the law by trying to uphold it themselves?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of the bad people.
Quote unquote bad people.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Jesus, this thing's it's terrible. It's terrible. It needs to stop. And this is the thing. And of course it's as we get closer to 2020, it's just going to escalate more. And
well, I mean, if they want to get Trump for another term, I mean, this is you're doing a bang up job.
You're doing Trump a favor. Exactly. These idiots who are anti-Trump, they think Trump is literally the devil. You're just helping him get reelected at this
Honestly,
point.
I'm not even a fan of Trump, and I mean, I'm seeing this from miles. I'm watching this from miles away, with the whole with how you're representing your side. Right, and you're not doing a very great job.
No.
The regular people look at you and they're like, I may not like the guy, but yeah, I don't think you guys deserve to have power right now.
Yeah,
that's literally how they're going to look at it.
Well, the other thing too, if he does get reelected, it's like what we saw what happened during the inauguration with all those protesters in Black Bloc, and how they torched this Muslim guy's limo. It's like, here you are, you're protesting racism and all this stuff, and you this poor guy who is an independent business owner, you light his limo on fire, basically destroying his livelihood. Way to go. Way to be anti-fascist. And honestly, I'm to the point now. It's like, you know what? I'm to the point where I just want to call Antifa white supremacist.
Yeah, you're right.
Even let me reshare this, folks. I want you to take a good look at this picture and tell me what you see. Tell me what you see here. A bunch of white people.
Yeah, most of them are white.
Yeah.
You
guys can see it. Yeah, it's like, to me, these fuckers are white supremacists. They went and they attacked a Vietnamese guy who's a journalist and happens to be gay, and you're calling yourself anti-fascist and anti-racist. Yeah, fuck you guys. Seriously.
Oh man, like I see terrorists.
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
terrorists. I see terrorists too, man.
like mall ninjas. I love you, like Elwin. That's a good one. Mall ninjas. But yeah, like it's just we're at the point where that this is okay, I guess. But like okay, so you do realize like you're going to then say it's okay for the other side eventually.
No, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like because eventually they're going to want to defend themselves.
Oh, dude, Philip, that's hilarious. I see new Miss America pageant. That's fucking gold, dude.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
Yeah.
Looks like a picture from the Middle East. I don't know. I don't see enough burning buildings.
Yeah.
Like
Rise of the illiterate Cobra Army.
Oh, okay.
Cobra Commander. Who's going to be the new Cobra Commander?
I don't know. Do we have anyone with enough of a shrill voice to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. I think that's a requirement of the Cobra Commander. Has to have like
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Yeah, and then God, but yeah, like what's your stance on? Because I wanted to actually ask, what's your stance on the Google platform versus publisher thing, and like what do you think will happen? Do you think like the government will force them to break up into smaller businesses so that each of them has to like be separate businesses and they can't codepend on each other, or do you think like they'll have to they'll stay like big tech and have to like change up their rules? Like, what do you think will actually happen?
What do I think will happen? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good question. So I know Montenuity made a comment, basically saying that he doesn't think anything's going to happen. This is in the video, and I respond back to him, basically saying that it's in the Republicans' best interest to do something. If they want to see their candidate make it all the way to the White House, they need to do something. This is purely at a cynical level. You know, they're going to have to do something if they ever want to see the White House again. Now, with the cynicism out of the way, I do think that there are certain people who do care in government. I do think they are few and far between. I do think Crenshaw is one of them.
Mhm.
But we are seeing bipartisan action in Congress right now, where even Elizabeth Warren is saying Google needs to be broken up. So my thoughts are, at the very minimum, if even if they are not broken up, I think that based off of some of the push through Congress that they're trying to do is that they will be declared a publisher rather than a platform, losing their protection if they do not change what they're trying to do. They do not correct course, they'll be declared a publisher at some point. I think that is, I wouldn't say worst case scenario. That is the minimum. That is the minimum I think will happen. Personally, I do think it will get taken to step that they will get broken up. I do think that they will use antitrust laws will be invoked to break up the monopoly. That's where I think will happen.
I mean, I would like to see that be done so that way we can see like a much fair competition out there. Especially like if that ruling does not only just break them up, but also have them have to be recognized as separate entities, separate trades, separate groups, like the full 9 yards kind of thing. You know what I mean? You can't because you can't just like separate them and say, oh, it's done like that, right? Like that we you actually have to go the full way with it.
Yeah. Well, remember what happened back in like early 2000 where you had antitrust laws were used against Microsoft because, Internet Explorer came bundled with Windows, and that was like the big point of contention back then was, were they allowed to do that? Because it was kind of anti-competitive in the sense that, okay, you already have this browser. Why would I go download another one? And there were a lot of hearings, all this stuff happened. And ultimately, I don't remember, they had to scale back something because I want to say you could not uninstall Internet Explorer at the time, or I don't know.
I'd have to double check on it.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
it's been such a long time, folks. I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
shit, we're talking close to 19 years ago when this stuff happened. So I do think action will be taken because of things like that. I mean,
Well, I mean, like it's coming.
and
It's gotten to the
that's
point.
just over a fucking browser on an operating system. This is way bigger.
Much bigger. I mean, think about it. Like we mentioned earlier, when somebody like goes to search something up online, they don't say, "Oh, well, go search it up online." They say, "Go Google
Go
it."
Google it. Yeah.
Like it's the same thing. And this is there's actually somebody who talks about like brand identification. I recommend like looking into him. I can't remember his name right now, but there's a guy who like mentions brand
I
identification.
swear to God, I watched that or read that because like
Yeah,
when you start using it as a verb, it's like the whole thing was like go grab a Q-tip.
yeah,
Q-tip is a brand. It's a cotton swab or something like that.
yeah. The proper term is cotton swab.
Yeah.
We're going to say Q-tip because Q-tip is a recognized brand. It's the one that we're using now. Like, hey, can you? It's like I need a Kleenex. I mean a tissue,
Mhm.
right? Like I need a like I need a chapstick. Well, you need a chap, you mean?
Lip balm. Yeah.
Like a lip
Bill
balm.
Will. Bill Will. That's what
Yeah,
he
Bill
talked.
Little. Yeah, he talked about it. And the thing is he does touch on a point of why it's a problem with something like Google, because it's not the fact that like you're going to go Google something. That's not the issue. The issue is that we're now accepting the fact of how much Google owns
Yeah.
because of it. So that means that like it's slowly allowing them to accept what they own, and we can't disassociate that. And that's and that's going to become a problem down the line because of because like eventually we're going to see like a scenario where like hell, like look at the browser scenario. I remember a few weeks ago we talked about you remember this one, Comic Division, where we talked about like how many browsers are using Google Chromium.
Yeah.
Right, like a lot of them are using Chromium, not just Google Chrome now, like Internet Explorer, like, or Edge I should say, because Explorer is still base Explorer, but like there is going to be Edge is getting an upgrade to go Chromium.
Really.
Yep. Like so Edge, I mean, yeah, sure, it'll run better than what Edge ran before, but keep that in mind. It's Chromium. It's using that Chromium software. Google uses Chromium. Like even Brave uses Chromium. Sure, Brave is like much more secure than the other ones, but like keep that in mind. They're using Chromium because like that's how much Google owns.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like they own so much, and that's the big thing is, and I remember I mentioned Facebook and their cryptocurrency. I think I call it something else. It's actually called Libra. That's the name of the cryptocurrency, and this is the stuff that's scary when these companies start getting involved with so much, specifically online. And if everybody starts using Libra and that becomes the common currency, and when it comes to like censorship and terms of service, is where it gets kind of scary. It's like oh well, you said something bad on Facebook, so we're wiping out your Libra account, or you're not allowed to use this currency anymore. It's stuff like that, and it's like, and Google owns a lot. It's like I remember when they were just a search engine. That was it. Much like in the same way that Amazon just did books. They sold books. They were online store. And now Bezos owns a lot of stuff.
Amazon does own a
Is
lot
the
of things. Yeah.
Washington Post that he owns?
Well, my question is like, do you think Disney will be brought into like after this? Do you think Disney will eventually be brought into action? Like it owns about 80 to 90% of the media industry now.
God, I don't know, dude. That's the thing. Like
Like,
when they bought Fox, they have to go through antitrust. They have to go through an
yeah.
investigation, and they said it's good. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing that it's kind of worrisome about
Well,
stuff like
we're at
that.
the point that where like three companies pretty much own everything though when it comes to media now
Yeah.
too. Like
Mhm.
you have we the big ones are Warner Brothers, Disney, and Viacom, I think.
Yeah.
Like those are the guys that own everything. Like that's scary, right?
Yeah.
Like like so they're going to dictate what you have to see in a theater or what you have to see in TV and stuff like that. It's sure. I mean, I guess you can make an argument TV's not a thing, but like all of them are also making their own streaming apps and stuff like that now too.
Mhm.
So like that's even more scary if you think about it. It's just like because now like they're going to be taking away services from the competition to like just push streaming up on there. Like we're at the point too. Like it's funny because you remember Cyberpunk? We were talking about Cyberpunk, and in Cyberpunk they call movies Disney's.
Is that what they? That's funny.
Yeah, well, because Disney makes the only good movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
yeah,
we're almost. I feel like we're almost there.
Yeah, it's like I need to crack open a Cyberpunk book, man. It's pretty funny. Somebody posted this on Twitter and they tagged me into it, and it's like shit. I had completely forgotten about it, but it's like it's out of CP 2020, and it's talking about what happened, what caused the collapse, and fuck, I wish I could find it because I'd read it for you guys. But essentially, what we're seeing now in the world is what caused the collapse. It's the whole idea of everybody's became me. The snowflake thing, and somebody he didn't. Mike Pondsmith didn't use the term snowflake, but he might as well have. But it got to the point where people just couldn't agree on anything more because there was such a huge ideological split that things just fell apart. And it's like, fucking A, dude. It's like, did he predict the future? Because we're seeing this shit going on right now.
Well, I mean, like, there's an argument where there's interviews where he has indicated like that we do see a lot of circular logic in things. So I think what it is I think he based it off of off of what he saw, and he tried to like write the story on that. So predictively, I think we're just kind of hitting a circle peak point, not that he predicted, but more like,
well, yeah. If you know anything about patterns, you could probably pick up on it and use it as a worst case scenario. But
yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people say, "Oh, Simpsons predicted the future." No, I think they did the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's like, I mean, do you think there could have been a chance of somewhat predicting the future? I mean, like, I mean, you could take a look at all the eventualities. I mean, maybe they predicted something, but
I don't think. Well, it's like I don't think Mike Pondsmith was trying to predict the future.
Exactly. Like,
or maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't think any of them were. I think what it is just like you get lucky. Like you throw the dart at like a dartboard, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, it's like something will be right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll hit the mark eventually. That's all.
Yeah, and you're right, brother Beast Boy. History does repeat itself.
Yeah.
That's the way the bubble bursts, I guess.
That's the way the bubble bursts. It's sometimes there's too much there. Oh no.
Let's see. God. So Computer Robots is asking, and chat, do you guys think that we will eventually go back into a Great Depression if there's going to be a technology economic collapse? I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever hit another Great Depression, mainly because of the circumstances that caused it. We'll definitely hit recessions, and I wouldn't say we've hit recessions that were worse than the Great Depression. In some regards, I'm not an economist, so don't take my word for that.
Let's logically look at things. Actually, okay, like so. I don't know if we're going to hit a depression anytime soon. If we do, it will happen. I'm not saying that it won't, because it probably will happen eventually. My recession, though, yeah, we've definitely hit recessions. But here's what gets interesting about those recessions. I'm sorry, my phone went off there.
No, it's okay. Well, even like take a look at the 2008 housing collapse. I mean, that was pretty bad, and it impacted things for quite some time. You know, and that's the thing that I know that various people have talked about. Tim Pool being one of them, is that even though the economy has recovered, certain segments of the economy has not. Specifically, those when it came to affecting millennials. That's the reason why you're seeing like this huge shift towards socialisms, because you know the millennials kind of got fucked by the housing crisis. So I mean, that was a major impact. And a lot of it too is, I mean, you have to look at the way the world was back in the 1930s. It's way different than it is now. You know, technology wise, things were still very agricultural and agrarian. We had more of an agrarian society than we have now, which there's a huge focus on technology.
Well, I mean, there's also the scenario that like a lot of things now are sure, okay, like things may look more expensive, but the paychecks are more, so therefore the net, if you take a look at the net, they're actually, a lot of things are cheaper than they used to be in a weird way. Like, they're not cheaper like as in price cost, but they're cheaper as compared to like inflation costs.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, we have a very good example because, like, let's take a look at video games as a good example. When video games first came out, because like there hasn't been that much in regards to how price changing happened in those, it's actually very viewable in that one. Games came out starting at like over $100. Like if you go look back at an old SNES game, a new SNES game was like $115.
Mm-hmm.
Now like new games when they come out are like 60.
Yeah.
Like that's a major difference in price as compared to like where we started with those.
Yeah.
You know?
And another thing too, sorry. I don't know what it is with good to see you, Tillian, but it's like whenever you post that, man, it's like I always have to uncensor it. It's really weird. It's really random. Some of the things I have to hit show in the comments. But overall, so I definitely think that we'll probably get hit with another major recession sometime soon. I don't think we'll have anything as bad unless we're talking like a total economic collapse. But if we have something that devastating, we're talking about the end of a nation or nations, depending on the impact across the world. I don't think we'll ever see something like the effects of the Depression. I think the worst it will ever get to would be a total economic collapse, and that's just going to have some very, very far-reaching ramifications.
I think the biggest thing like you'll see here, if we're going to see like a depression of any sort in that regards, it would have to be during a currency change. So like if we're changing, let's say from like money and credit cards, debit cards to like, let's say like we are right out going to change to a cryptocurrency of some sort, right? That would be probably when you would probably see it, because if not enough people transfer over at once, that could definitely cause a depression of sorts for the time being while we're waiting for transition to happen. I think that would be one of the only times I could see that potentially being where like a case scenario in place at this time, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Could a economic collapse happen? Yeah, I think it could. It really kind of depends on what's going on. I don't know how far we get. I know some of the things that have been brought up. This is interesting that Gabe Ryder brings up this. Mr. Poole talks about like we're in a civil war. It's just not that shit. Sorry, I got lost here. It's just that the shooting hasn't started yet. And that's the thing, man. I don't know if we're ever going to get to that point. Maybe. I mean, at least like with the Civil War in the 1800s, it was pretty cut and dry. It was North versus South. And I finally watched that video that you sent me, Switchpoint, about the guy who was talking about the whole thing with the Civil War.
Yeah.
Or potential civil war in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was pretty interesting. And I do think that if we've reached a point where a certain segment of the population could not elect their candidate to the presidency, then I think, yes, that would definitely. Something.
I do agree with him on that point. He makes some very poignant points. Actually, like his video is very well thought out in regards to like what would happen. My question is, I don't know if I find it 100% right that I agree with him that the left wouldn't win, because we've seen that the left is not afraid of, like the far left at least, is not afraid of violence to some degree, not anymore at least. So if we take that into consideration, let's take that into consideration that like the left is not afraid of violence. It's okay. Well, how long before the left then are just okay with using guns and just justify it as, well, this is just a need at this point that we're going to use guns because they left us no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not admitting that we're wrong because we still think guns are wrong. We're planning to get rid of them after we're done. We're just admitting that there is no other choice because they've chosen to outgun us and play dirty and like basically calling them dirty. Right?
Yeah.
Like because they were forced into this tactic or something. Like that's how they'll frame it. Yeah.
Well, no, a lot of it too. I think it depends. If they were able to push through some sort of gun confiscation, then that changes a huge thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that is a totally different factor. But the other thing too is that that in itself, if they tried to do gun confiscation, could lead to a civil war, a form of civil war. Um, yeah, because I think a lot of people wouldn't stand for that.
I'd imagine like a good fraction of people would not. Like at least I would say, I would say like at least 30% of Americans wouldn't stand up for that. Maybe even more.
Hmm.
You know, but I can at least say a strong 30% at least wouldn't stand for it.
Yeah.
You know.
But and Chrononaut, you're right. Major cities will start because that's the main thing that I think a lot of liberals don't understand is that we are dependent on people in the rural areas of this country to produce food for us. And all they have to do is say, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. and every major city in this country would be massively screwed. That's how it goes. They could, excuse me, and the majority of the rural areas are definitely more conservative. They could literally starve out the liberal cities.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Well, I mean, a lot of the it's the same thing here. Like, I think I find it funny because it's like you reminded me of the same thing here where um, Montreal wanted to like separate from Canada for whatever reason.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to offer though?
Yeah.
Like, like sure, okay. We're like, well, we're a trading city, and I'm like, yeah, okay, but like you're going to separate from Canada. Canada's just going to use a different city to trade. They'll probably have to go through like Toronto or something.
Hmm.
What do you offer the rest of Canada? Like as soon as you separate, like it's not like you offer lumber or fishing or or agriculture or any of those other things. As soon as you leave, okay, well, I guess we're up in the tariffs and the taxes on trades to you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just not a good idea overall. Like sometimes they just
Yeah.
don't like it's just like these cities sometimes think it's a good idea to do something, but they don't think of the consequences that could happen afterwards. Because it would be the same thing for California. Let's say California left like America instead of like moving forward with their so-called plan to try to come back into government later on. Let's say they actually do leave America. What do they have that they could offer? Like if they were to open trade with
I
America.
don't know, SJWs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of poop in San Francisco. I'm sure they could trade. I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. I mean,
Like, and I'm not trying to say like I like Montreal. I've been to Montreal. It's a beautiful city. And the same thing. I mean, California, I'm sure it like looked like a beautiful city. I wouldn't mind visiting it once, but again, like these are things where you're just like where you're like, who are these people that think this is a good idea in your own like in these country or in these parts of the country, right?
mm-hmm.
Like it's clear that they're not thinking of the consequences that would happen afterwards.
Yeah.
You know?
And honestly, I think at this point, the only state that could actually leave the union and would be okay would be Texas, and that shit ain't happening, folks. It ain't happening. Um, but
Oh,
we literally have everything here. We have our own grid. We'll be fine. We have food production. We have technology. We have manufacturing. We would do fine. But again, like I said, we're not leaving the union. It's not going to happen.
yeah.
But overall, do I see something happening? Kind of getting back to what you're talking about, the Civil War. I don't know, dude. I kind of feel like we are in one right now. At the very least, an ideological one. Yes,
Yeah.
I do have my dog's brother Beast Boy in my
Yeah.
office. When I pet one of them, one gets jealous and gets very vocal, and I have to pet him. And the other one just goes, whatever, and wanders off. But overall, I kind of feel like we are in something right now. Even if it is just a culture war. Do I think it will ever turn hot? Um, I don't know. It's definitely a possibility, and I don't know how it would work though. That's the thing. I mean, unless they're starting to go after people that are, I won't say high profile, like going after you know Tucker Carlson, like Antifa has done before. It's like unless they start going and marching into like well-off neighborhoods or something like that and start attacking people. I mean, I don't know. This whole thing is very weird. The only thing I guess it maybe is that where you have these rallies like what happened with in Portland, and those become like the new battlegrounds. They erupt out of protests, and to a degree, we're seeing it. They're not using guns, thankfully, but we are having clashes in the streets. We're having, they declared this an actual emergency. Let me see from that one article I sent you.
Like it's in this case scenario, it's like I would argue that you're at the point where I would say where one would say it's definitely civil war, but like it's not official.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of like you're kind of at that point where it's a touch and go. You're at the touch and go point right now.
Yeah.
And you're a step away from it becoming like an official civil war. And like I wouldn't even be surprised if it does lead to that eventually. But yeah, like you're just not there yet. Like it's not like you're not at the official point where people have accepted it yet.
Yeah. I mean, but we are seeing the clashes in the streets at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. And hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully it's just an ideological and cultural war, and hopefully it burns out, right? Hopefully we'll get back to sanity. But I think something that is very telling is what we talked about at the very beginning of the stream, where we're talking about the Democratic convention, or not the convention, but the debates that have been going on, where you have it's like they're trying to one up one another on who's the most left leaning. You had Beto O'Rourke, giving part of his speech in Spanish, which is like, Jesus Christ, man. It's like you're pandering, dude. You're fucking pandering. You're virtue signaling as well as pandering. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's crazy, and this is what they think that it means to be a Democrat now, is being this far left progressive. And you have people that are Democrats saying, "This isn't my party, folks. This isn't my party anymore." And it's like, what do you do with it? Yeah, cutting mics. Holy shit, that's right. I completely forgot about. I don't know much about what happened, but Tim Pool was reporting how they cut Andrew Yang's mic. It's like, I don't know what he was talking about, but that's just like that's crazy. Can you imagine that? If during like the Republican debates they cut Trump's mic.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Do you think didn't they up the sensitivity of his mic on purpose, like in that one debate where we keep hearing him breathe?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would that surprise you? Like they up the sensitivity on his mic?
No, no. Actually, yeah, I think it would. I think if they did cut his mic, it would be kind of surprising, unless it's like you hear. Sorry.
Well, no. Like,
sorry,
so they didn't cut his mic, right? But like, remember there was that debate with him and like Hillary Clinton, and we could always hear a lot of like heavy breathing from him.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they upped the sensitivity on that mic at that point.
Maybe, I don't know, but the whole point is that Andrew Yang was trying to say something, and they cut him off. They wouldn't let him talk.
Yeah. So I think the 2010 so far is about people being controversial for the sake of being controversial.
Yeah.
Well, you're not wrong.
So I think it's going to be a mess, and it's the two people that are remotely sane, they're not going to get the nominee. Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang, they're by far probably the most sane out of the lot, out of the 20 potential candidates, and they're not going to get picked. It's probably going to be Cory Booker.
Well, I mean, yeah. Why would they pick anyone? Like, honestly, the biggest thing you have with the elections is like everyone is looking at the like they look at the elections and they're like they only see the left and the right. They don't like the middling candidates, like the libertarians and I can't remember the other candidates. Yeah, you guys have the fourth one. They always get overlooked. You know what I mean? And it's funny because like last election, the Libertarian government actually almost had enough votes to at least not to make it, but to at least like end up in like the hearings and things of that nature to like at least be a recognized party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I honestly don't think that'll even happen again this time, though. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I honestly think they'll just like that'll be forgotten this time around, and that probably won't happen. Like, and I feel like that's the sad truth we have to deal with right now.
See, Computer Robots is saying, I don't think SJW is even true Democrats / liberals. They're just using that spot to further their agenda and using the liberals to fight against the conservatives. Here's the other thing too. When it comes to what's going on with the Democrats, it's like we already know that the progressives, they're going to vote Democrat. So what you need to do is you need to win, the average person. That's what they need to get. You need to win them by being sane.
Yeah, you need to, if you want to win the average person, that's fine. But I mean, if you want to win your debate and getting your like regular people is fine, but you need you need to get the average people on your side if you even want to have a chance.
Yeah,
because that's where the majority of your vote will come from.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing too. Is the reason why people didn't want Hillary. It's like ever since 2008 with the crash, people have been voting for non-establishment candidates, and it's the reason why Bernie would have had a solid chance against Trump if he was the nominee, and he probably would have won. But now the dude's a fucking joke. The entire party is a joke.
I mean, like we found proof that Bernie would just betray the people as soon as he like gave it to Hillary. Some will argue like he felt like he didn't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like maybe they might have like pulled his hand, potentially, and potentially they did. Maybe they did like maybe they did. I don't know. Like I don't know what they have on Bernie, but
I don't think they had anything on him. I think he just I think Bernie just sold out.
Yeah, possibly.
But the thing I think is pretty funny, speaking of trends, so right now we're in the middle of the trend of the non-establishment candidate. So when are we going to get back to the trend of the establishment candidate rather than the outsider candidate? So that because that's going to happen at some point.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. It's all about the cycles. So anyway, I think we've hit our peak and ended. So I'm good to call it, man. If you are,
I think we're good to call it here. I mean, definitely.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anything you want to plug?
Apparently, somebody else already plugged my YouTube channel. So.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that would be one of my awesome mods, Kalea, the Cinema Queen, who plugged your channel there.
Well, I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much, Kalea, the Cinema Queen.
But overall, the other thing too, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what I got here to talk about. Oh, I got to thank my lovely Subscribe Star supporters. Let's see. I have quite a few. God, I'm up to 4, which is kind of crazy. I never thought I would actually have people wanting to give me money because I'm a YouTuber. But I have Texas K Laugh, as well as Kalea, Arthur Potato Hammer, Nelson Knocking Off, as well as Christie Miller. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for supporting me on Subscribe Star. You are awesome. And dog, stop whining. Not during the outro, dude. Knock it off. Let's see. What else do I have going on? What do you have going on? Anything new with your channel that you're going to be talking about anytime soon?
Nothing I can think of right now. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm really weird because I only ever make videos when I feel like it's like when it feels right.
Yeah, I hear you.
As for like what I normally do, like I mean, I'm still doing like weird commissions, like photoshops for people and stuff like that. So I mean, like you can always hit me up on Twitter if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff. So, and we have a little doggo. He's like, "Oh, I want attention."
That's Chug. He does weird stuff. He's got allergies and he's like rolling around at the moment. So,
no worries.
Yep. Asshole with a mic. Indeed. Yes. Sorry, everybody. You hear the dogs. This is the part of the problem with streaming at night is my wife is going to bed and she if I have I have to have the dogs with me because if not they'll drive her crazy and she'll open the door and stare at me until I get my dog. So it's part of the reason why they're here. And tonight they're being a little more rambunctious than normal. Anyway, I'm not sure what I got going on video wise. I'll come up with something. It will probably be coming out on Tuesday. A lot of it just kind of depends on how tomorrow is. Just work week wise. I know that Wednesday I talked about doing a stream with Dr. Venkman, so look forward to that. But I'll get something out. Pretty soon. My project at work has been, is done, so I have more time on my hands to do stuff. So,
That's good to hear.
Yep. So
Mhm.
anyway, folks, good night. Everyone have a good one. And I'll see you next time.